the Chargers, and they score! Good afternoon and welcome to Fiore Calls Game here on 321 Media. My name is Andrew Fiore. I'm here with my co-host Brandon Kahn, and we've got some URI royalty on the screen with us there. Anthony DePino and Trystan Levesque, both of the defending A10 champion baseball team. Boys, how we doing?
Doing well. Doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, these guys were crucial in URI winning its third ever conference championship and making the NCAA tournament. They also both happen to be former Mystic Schooners as well. And it's a very interesting time in the offseason now as the draft is coming around the corner. And I want to get into what you guys have been doing now and then later talk about this past season. So starting with you, Ant, it's been a very busy few weeks for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a busy couple first weeks of the summer, but it's been fun. Can't complain.
Yeah, so what have you gotten up to? I saw some pictures with you in a Sox uniform, which looked surreal, coming from you, a big Yankee fan.
Yeah, so I've been doing a bunch of workouts with a bunch of teams, and then, that was cool to play in a game like that at Fenway Park. Never played at a big league park, so yeah, that was a lot of fun. Seeing a bunch of guys that you play against and you play with throughout your college career, and then just being on the same diamond as a bunch of great ball players is pretty cool.
Yeah, so how did that opportunity come about?
I went to a workout with the Yankees, and Matt Hyde, the area scout for New England, he had reached out to me and pretty much gave me the opportunity to play at that game. And, yeah, it was just a lot of fun to be able to go out there and play baseball again after sitting around for 3 weeks and kind of just doing the basics of like BP and hitting off the machine and throwing. But to actually playing a game again was cool.
So with the draft coming up just around the corner, what is that like for you as somebody who could potentially go or get signed? What does that look like? Are teams reaching out to you? Are you just sitting back and waiting? To walk us through that a little bit.
There's a lot of I had a couple phone calls, and it's just a lot of waiting. Just kind of, it's a stressful time, just not knowing. That's the only thing that is tough. You don't really know anything until the day it happens, and you just got to stay optimistic and keep working on yourself. But it's a lot of fun. The stress is good. It's good stress to have. There's a lot of worse problems to have than be worrying about playing baseball. So it's a dream come true.
I'm sure. Now, Trystan, you are still playing right now down in West Virginia, I understand, correct?
Yeah, that's where the team's based out of, but we're on a week-long road trip right now. We're in Maryland right now, finishing up our last game of the series today, and then we head over to Mahoney Valley, Ohio for another 3-game series, and then we head back home for a little while.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the MLB Draft League for our viewers who hadn't heard of it before.
It's been very cool. It's a unique experience. You got a big mix of a lot of different types of players. You got guys who are 18 years old in high school trying to possibly push their stock up and possibly a couple rounds in the draft. We got a pitcher. I was talking to you guys a little bit before, Sam Kozar. He could potentially be a first or second rounder, and he's just trying to kind of solidify himself. And then we got a mix of some guys that maybe have a year of eligibility left. They're trying to enter the portal, get noticed by some bigger schools. And then we also got a mix of some fifth-year guys that are just trying, like myself, that are just trying to kind of push themselves into the draft, keep playing baseball, and yeah.
Yeah, so life on the road must be exciting. I know a lot of the teams, including the Black Bears in that league, used to be minor league teams. And does that come with bigger stadiums?
Yeah, so we've been playing some really nice stadiums. Obviously, some affiliate balls. Black Bears, I think, for the Pirates. Right now, we're at the Keys facility, which I believe I was told was the Orioles. So nice locker rooms. Some of them got even some weight rooms, some stuff like that. So it's been kind of neat being able to see what pro ball is kind of like. We have our loops done for us. We got snacks in there. We got TVs. So it's been kind of cool. I get a little sneak peek of what pro ball could be like.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So clearly, you two both doing big things coming off of a historic season for URI. And it was something that was great to watch for all of us fans, people in the area. Now, what was it like for you the moment you guys clinched the A10 tournament?
You want to take this one, Theo?
Yeah. So when Joe delivers that final pitch, the final out's recorded, kind of go numb. You couldn't really believe it at first. Everybody dogpiling, but it didn't really set in until, at least for me, a couple of days after. Like, wow, we really did that. We really fought our way through the entire season, made to the conference tournament, succeeded, did everything that we needed to, and we moved on. It was absolutely amazing. It definitely felt surreal. And then it was even more exciting when we were able to travel to a regional and compete in that.
Yeah, Con, I don't know if I don't want to leave you out of this. So if you have any thoughts, jump in at any point. But
Oh yeah, no worries. Perfect. So I wanted to ask you guys. You described how it felt winning the A10 championship. Congrats, by the way. Like Andrew said, very historic season. Very exciting to watch. I want to hear your guys' thoughts about the very viral clip that was posted. I believe ESPN posted it. That was the biggest. I think you guys know which one I'm talking about. Ground ball. Already know. You guys are gonna win the game. The pointing to the ring finger, ring me up. I want your guys' reaction and how important it was to get that much light on the team, having such a viral, like, really cool moment for you guys and the team.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, seeing that everywhere. I mean, I know you get a lot of looks from different views, different point of views of like showboating, this and that. But the fact to be a pitcher and have that much trust in your defense and have that much trust in your team, I mean, you're doing something that hasn't been done since 2016. You're winning an A10 championship. You're getting to the NCAA tournament. I mean, it was awesome. And then obviously, every good publicity, all publicity is good publicity, and that's something that Joey always talks about. He's a showman, and yeah, that was sweet to see be posted everywhere.
yeah, I saw that on CBS Sports. That was a question I had ready if you didn't have anything, Con. That was just
No, trust me, I've been
unbelievable.
waiting to ask that one because
That's
you don't really see URI getting major clips like that, and the comments might call it aura farming or a little bit of cockiness, but it was really cool for the A10's not a superpower conference in anybody's eyes, but to see that much light shedded on the conference and our school and how much the A10 tournament meant, I imagine that you guys were feeling all the emotions, seeing that video go viral and being able to live in that moment. So definitely had to bring it up for the one time.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it, like Ant said, as something that just shows his trust in the defense, which, I mean, Ant, I feel like that's an underrated aspect of your game. There's been, like, talks about you playing catcher or you've played DH at times, but watching you play third base, you really flash that leather and flash that arm. How do you think your defensive game has improved in the last few years?
I think defensively I've gotten much better. And I give that a credit to Coach Heiss. He's worked with me a lot, and that was one thing that me and Coach C talked about. It was like, you're a great hitter, this and that, but for you to be playing at the next level, for you to have a long career in baseball, you need to be able to play defense, because at the end of the day, if you're not hitting and you're just a DH, then you bring no value to the team. So there's times where I was going into slumps this year where I wasn't hitting the ball as well as I was in the beginning, and then obviously I turned it on towards the end. But yeah, being able to be a game changer defensively was a big part of my success this year.
And we talked about one viral moment with the Joe Sabbath clip, but I gotta say, Tristan, you had some viral moments of your own coming out of that Oregon game. I saw some pretty big accounts reposting that. 10 innings, no runs allowed there, up at one of the toughest places to play. What were the emotions like during that game against that offense?
As a starter, at least for me, it's always like I kind of believe in myself. It's just one pitch at a time. So I gotta, with that, the next step is one out at a time, one inning at a time, and go like that. So executing each pitch, pitch after pitch, is kind of like how I manage myself throughout that game. Not getting ahead of myself. Didn't really set in like what was going on until seventh, eighth, ninth inning. And I'm like, wow, all right, well, let's keep it rolling. Obviously, the game didn't work out as we expected, and that's okay. But it was a great example of what I am capable of. I am capable of going to pitching against some of the best competition in the country and doing well and succeeding. Obviously, at the next level, if I want to keep playing, there's some things I need to work on. But this was definitely a great test and a great example and a great success for me, at least this year.
Yeah, that's the attitude to have, in my opinion. And I mean, this A10 tournament wasn't even your first championship. Talk about that Cape Cod League game in 2023 with the Thorn when you pitched in the championship game. Did the pressure get to you at all, or what was that experience like?
There was probably about 8,000 fans there at that field. That was so when you're first warming up and there's no fence behind your catcher. So you're warming up and there is 30 people behind your catcher and your one thought is like, wow, I really hope I don't sail one and possibly it goes into the crowd. Yeah, so that was the start of the game. But once you get onto the mound and you start getting into the game, I kind of settled in a little bit. The game, we ended up winning, and that was absolutely amazing. Big dog pile of everything. But there's definitely some moments that were a testament to me having the composure to stay composed and keep pitching and getting outs. But yeah, we came through, we won, and yeah, it was awesome to win another ring.
The fact that you can even say another ring is just huge.
Yeah. A10 champs and Cape Cod champs is definitely a cool thing that I can add to any type of resume if needed.
TL, I want to run it back to the 10-inning performance real quick. How do you – obviously, as a starting pitcher, you're prepared to go as long as your coach needs to, as long as you're able. What goes into preparation to make sure that you can go 10 grueling innings? Like, what are you doing while, you know, the boys on offense are hitting to keep that arm fresh and to, you know, make sure you don't throw your arm out? Because it's rare that, you know, even young guys such as you go and sling 10.
Yeah. So for preparation, basically last year I suffered a hamstring injury. So that wasn't ideal, of course. But after that, the whole summer I started rehabbing and doing everything. And I basically did a slow ramp up throughout the whole entire fall and winter. That allowed me to work on getting a lot stronger, working on ramping up my arm, building velo, all of that stuff, working on pitches, pitch design, command, all of it. So by the time that pretty much the first game hit, I had the capability and I was ready to go 9 innings without a doubt. So definitely the preparation, constantly getting the workouts, getting the rehab in, getting extra arm carry in, all of that stuff, cardio, being able to last 9 innings. That was all like a big part of preparation for that game. And then just the attention to detail with everything that I did was obviously a big part of it. When I'm throwing a bullpen, putting it exactly where I want or having the pitch shape be exactly as I like, that was definitely a big part of what I wanted to do. So I think a lot of success was the attention to detail and just constantly staying with it.
Yeah, in the past, you've cited actually another former guest of ours, Dennis Long, as playing a huge role in your development as a pitcher. What did he offer you that you ended up using at URI and beyond?
So I actually worked with Dennis when I was a lot younger. Dennis taught me a ton when I was a young kid. We first worked on, I think our biggest thing was commands. And having just the ability to throw strikes. He would have this awesome drill actually where we would go from having a tee, start with a soccer ball, go down to a softball, go down to a baseball, lacrosse ball, and so on and so on. Eventually, we're hitting a marble off a cone on a tee. And yeah, so command was always our biggest thing for him. Nobody really cares how hard you throw a ball for, right? So obviously, command is the biggest part for me. And then, so with him, we also worked on sliders and changeups and constantly working on different feels with that. So Dennis has been a huge part, not only with pitch design, but in terms of confidence and support throughout my baseball career. So he's been amazing.
Yeah, certainly had a lot to offer us. And Anthony's someone you've worked with as well, playing for the Schooners for 2 years, one at Dodd Stadium, one at Fitch. And Dodd's a tough place to hit at. How did that help you develop as an extra base hitter, legging out those doubles and triples?
That year at Dodd, I mean, it stunk not being able to hit homers, but it is what it is. But yeah, I remember talking to Coach Orby and Jimmy Titus, who is the hitting coach, and they were just like, you got to just keep going. I mean, they're gonna fall, stuff's gonna happen, and then the harder you hit the ball here, I mean, don't worry about getting hits, this and that. I mean, because that season I hit, I think 250 somewhere around there, and I felt like I was making hard contact every at bat that I was up there, and stuff wasn't falling. And then the year after I had that was my junior year, I had a good year in college, and I think that definitely played a role into my mental factor, because it was like you can't get mad about hard outs, and that's kind of like what I took into this year, especially. It was like, if you're hitting the ball hard, you got to just keep going. It's going to work out in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it earned you a spot in the All-Star game that year, despite maybe lower numbers on paper. But that hard contact's what's got you on the map. The home runs is the headliner for you with the URI career title in home runs, both single season and for a whole career. But I've noticed you have an ability to really leg out those doubles and be a plate setter, which is why they put you at the leadoff spot. How big of a game changer was that for you, going leadoff halfway through, I think, your junior year?
I remember the first game, it was against Quinnipiac, when Coach was like, I looked at the lineup card thinking I was going to be either second or third, because we didn't really have a leadoff hitter because Reese Maroney was sick or hurt or something. And I looked at the lineup and I looked at Coach C. I was like, is this real? Like, are you joking? And he was like, no, like, I'm being serious. And I was like, all right, let's run with it. And then I kind of just took that into my head, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try to be Kyle Schwarber, get on base a lot with walks and still hit homers. And I think the leadoff mentality gave me a lot of confidence, because I knew in my first at bat I knew kind of in the whole game I was going to get the most at bats out of anybody on the team. And especially leading off the game, I want to be able to put fear into a pitcher. And then obviously I could work walks, and then coming with the walks, I said, if you're going to get walked a lot, be able to steal bases and get to second base, because now a walk is pretty much a double. So that's kind of how I changed it from my game.
Yeah, I mean, getting on base is huge for you, especially with the speed you have. That's something not a lot of people talk about. You've got sort of a sneaky speed that people wouldn't see coming.
Yeah. I honestly don't know where it came from, but it was just, I think as that summer in Mystic, I started stealing more bases, and then I was like, I could do this. And then last year I stole 14 or 15 bags, and then this year I stole 20. And it was kind of just in my head. I wanted to be able to be a threat on the bases, and not just be a guy where they could just be, all right, walk him, like it doesn't matter. It's just he's just a I don't know the word, but he's just clogging up the base paths, kind of.
I can also attest to that as well. Just seeing Ant in live ABs from the previous years, how he's able to get off the bag and know his distances with everything, and reading the pitcher and getting his awesome jump. I think that's also attributed to how he's elevated his game more. Elevated. There we go.
There it is.
There we go. Elevated his game.
Man, Connor
Words are
Harris
hard.
might just have jumped you in the broadcaster rankings for that one, Tristan.
You see, he's playing banana ball now.
I did. I'm trying to get him in here for that. That's
That's awesome.
crazy. He's the perfect guy for it with his his charisma. He's a funny dude, so he's gonna fit him well down there. We're gonna try to get him in here, but yeah, Brandon, sorry to cut you off, man.
No, I was just saying to Tristan that words are hard, but yeah, I don't remember the exact stat, but a 2020 season for Ant, that was I believe, was that the first time in URI baseball history that feat has been accomplished, the 2020 season. It's 20 homers, 20 steals. Yeah. So that tells you all you need to know about this season, but you kind of covered it already, but can you walk through kind of like I guess my question is, how important you were talking about how important it is to walk and steal because it's two bases, but how important would you say stats are in your game? Are you really just trying to go for stats? Are you really just trying to ramp up those stolen bases, ramp up those homers, or are you more focused on like, all right, situational baseball, like maybe we don't need to swing for the fences here, maybe I just try to get on base, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm obviously anything to do to make the team win. That's kind of what's on my mind at all times. Obviously, stats are cool. You can look at them, but at the end of the day, they're just numbers. They don't mean anything because if you don't win, you could hit 400 with 35 homers. If your team doesn't win, it doesn't matter. You don't get seen as much. I think putting us in a regional gave me and Tristan an opportunity that we couldn't have asked for in earlier years to be able to play in front of the stadium that we played in front of and to be able to play in front of the scouts that we played in front of. And that's a credit to everybody that we played with throughout our careers to put us in the spot where we were. And especially this year, our coaches to just let us go out there and rock and kind of just play free baseball.
That's very, very well said. Well, that 2020 season landed you on the all second team in what was that, All-American second team, which is obviously an incredible feat. So I would say that winning helped, but those stats didn't hurt at all.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what that honor means to you as an individual accomplishment? I know you're a real team guy and all about winning, but as a personal accomplishment, how much did that award mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, seeing all the awards come in at the end of the season was definitely, it was cool to see. And I give a lot of credit to my teammates. Obviously, just to myself, it means so much. But to my teammates, I wouldn't have those stats without them, because without them hitting behind me, it's a lot easier for people to walk you and do all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I give a lot of credit to the teammates. And I mean, I have all those runs scored because of guys like Jack Hopko with all those RBIs. And I have all those RBIs because of guys like Brody McKenzie and Scotty Penny at the bottom of the lineup getting on base for me.
Scotty's down in Mystic now.
Yeah.
With the Sooners carrying on your legacy. But I've got to ask, and this applies to both of you, with the transfer portal, the way it is, with NIL money out there, with both of your resumes, you guys could have gone anywhere you want, really. What made you stick at Rhode Island?
Go ahead, yeah. Start it.
Kind of a love for Rhode Island. I love the school, love the coaches, I love the team, love the area. It's where I felt like I needed to be, honestly. I obviously have an education to pursue, and that's kind of a little bit of what I also wanted to make sure I handled. But all those other things is kind of like, it was my home, I guess, in a sense. So that's kind of why I really wanted to stay.
For me, it's obviously my teammates. It was huge for me because I don't want to leave somewhere. I mean, you see it in summer ball. You're showing up to a team. You don't know a lot of guys. It's a lot harder to win and succeed because you're not really comfortable. And then you play with guys in college and you just get so comfortable with them. You get to play your own baseball. You're playing like it's Little League again because you're with guys every single day. And to transfer somewhere and then meet, you have to pretty much make new friends. You got to get comfortable again. It's very hard to do. And then the biggest thing for me coming out of high school, Coach C gave me the opportunity to play there, and I didn't want to. He pretty much thought in his head, all right, I'm getting a player for 4 years, 3 years if he has a really good career and he gets drafted as a junior, but 4 years barring that. So I kind of gave my loyalty to Coach C, and I wasn't going to burn a bridge just to go play at a better school.
I think that's the type of thing that teams look at that you're not exactly going to see watching film or sending scouts to a game. It's that intangible caring about the team. And we've seen from players in both drafts in the NBA and NFL, including last night, guys who just really are in it for themselves. And I think that attitude that you both displayed just then is what will attract scouts and something that teams like to hear. So I think that's right on. I've got to say with branding, I'm thinking about this after we talked about Connor Harris. I feel like you've got your own kind of persona thing going on with the teams you play, the whole Godfather thing, leaning into your last name, the Sopranos vibes. That's got to be big to play off of in building chemistry and I guess self-branding.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very Italian thing, and I grew up in a very Italian household. And it was pretty cool having two other Italians that played a lot this year for us, in Nick Toro and Nick Notarangelo. So it was, yeah, I love the Italian vibe that we had going. I kind of wish both of them had Italian walk-up songs. I tried getting them to do it early on, but they didn't really catch on. But we had the double celly with the hand here, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, your famous walk-up song, "That's Amore," blasting over the speakers at both fields was just iconic, and I kept getting comments on it when I was at games for both teams. Love it, and I think again it's a good self-brand, honestly. And in this area, Westerly, that plays well too. It's like 92% Italian or something crazy like that.
Yeah, that's like what it is where I grew up too. So I kind of just had to keep it going. And the coolest part about that, the Italian heritage, is when we went down to LSU. I mean, we started our game at midnight, the first game against DBU. So it was crazy. A bunch of the LSU fans were there all day, drinking, doing whatever, having fun, probably having too much fun. But they stayed after and watched a lot of our game. And there was probably a group of 30 to 40 college kids behind home plate. And they were singing my walk-up song as I was going up to the plate. It was pretty cool.
That's so sick. Yeah, Con,
when it comes to I mean, I wanted to ask you guys about so you guys played at midnight. That game didn't get over until the early hours of the morning, and then you have to play again later that same day, if I'm not mistaken. Talk about what that experience was like. How difficult, like, is that one of your most challenging feats in both of your careers? Preparing, and like, you don't have that much time to prepare between games. You probably got a couple hours sleep. I just want to know what that process was like as a team, and how you think it affected you both positively and negatively.
I think the toughest part of that whole scenario was having to stay locked in. So originally we were told NCAA rules at the time where this game cannot start after, I think it was like 9:59 Central Time or something like that, because the game before got delayed, the LSU versus Little Rock game got delayed. So we're told originally that time, and then it got pushed back again, and then again, and then again. So they kept getting approval from the NCAA to keep pushing the game back. So for me starting, I kind of was going from like, okay, I'm definitely going to pitch. And then I see the first game got delayed. I'm like, okay, maybe I will. But I had to constantly stay locked in, like expecting to play and expecting to pitch. So I would say in that aspect, it was a little tough. Pitching at midnight was not ideal, but you obviously got to do the best that you can and just go out there. Having to turn around the next morning, it was kind of like, okay, eat quick, go to bed, wake up. And then from, I'm sure, the hitter's perspective, I'm sure is a little different. Go ahead. Yeah.
Just going back to the first game, I give Trystan all the credit in the world. I mean, he dealt with a lot of stuff throughout the season, whether it was rain, pitching in doubleheaders, or just a bunch of stuff that could have hindered his success. And especially that game against DBU. I mean, we started that game at, I think it was 11 o'clock Central Time, and which is midnight where we're from. And we were only down there for a day, so it's not like we were acclimated to the time. So that's a late game for us. And Trystan had a rough first inning, but he battled, and he ended up shoving that entire game. He gave us a shot to win. We couldn't get it done on the offensive side, but he gave us a shot to win, and I give him all the credit in the world for that. Going out his last start in his college career and doing stuff like that is pretty special. But on the hitter's end, it was a tough turnaround, and I think we definitely didn't do a great job of coming out the next day and getting ready to go. But I have no regrets about what we did this season and how we played. So that coming out and playing at LSU is special alone.
I like that. I like that mentality. No excuses, you know. And you guys played hard-nosed baseball for what it's worth. I would say you were given a shorthand, but definitely appreciate that mentality.
I definitely, again, as somebody who wasn't there, I feel like you guys would have had a better shot, not on whatever hours sleep you were on for that second game. But yeah, just to go out there at midnight is just crazy. And Trystan, I didn't get to stay up for that night. How many innings did you go? I know the final score was 6-2, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Ant was the 2-run producers in that game, I believe, too. Ant came around to score once, and then he hit a homer as well. So, yeah. I think I made it into the 7th. I went 6 2/3, rough first inning, 4 runs in the first. They were on me. Maybe some bad pitch selection or something, and so they scored 4. But then I think I put up 5 zeros after that, and then we're in the 7th inning and got 2 quick outs, and then the lefty came up. And the inning before, I had a conversation with Coach Fisher and Coach Serrato. I was like, hey, I'm just being honest with you. Like, I'm getting a little fatigued here. I don't know if it was the heat or time of night or everything like that. I wanted the team to win. So I was going to obviously be honest with them. I wanted the next inning. So I said, let me go out and pitch. I got this. And, but yeah, got 2 quick outs, let up a homer to the lefty. And sadly, I had to come out of the game, but it was definitely a great experience for sure.
Yeah, I mean, against the number 20 team in the nation at midnight, that's still, to go that many scoreless innings, though, is impressive. Did Ryan Schweed pitch in that game? Because I know he's at DBU now.
No, he didn't pitch in that game. I was texting him before. I wanted him to pitch, and I told him, I was like, just hit me, because then we're even. No one wins the battle.
Yeah, I know he's in the Cape now, I'm pretty sure, with Pedeswa.
Is he?
I think I saw he's because it was last week's show. We had a kid who works for YD on, and I was looking through the roster, and I swear I thought I saw Pedeswa and Schweed, unless I'm getting mixed up. But it's awesome for them.
Yeah, I have to text him. I'll see what he's up to.
Yeah, is the Cape something you ever gave thought to? And I know Trystan has experience there. We talked about that, but have you ever considered the Cape?
I definitely wish I got the opportunity to play in the Cape. Playing in that atmosphere, it's all they have going on in the summer, so it's really cool. But I just never got the opportunity to get a contract in the Cape.
Yeah, still, I mean, you made most of your time in Mystic, became Mr. Schooner for a while there. I had another question. Oh, yeah, about the regional again. Playing in the team stadium who ended up winning the national championship. I don't know if you guys got to interact with LSU at all. I know you didn't play them. I don't know what the deal is with all the teams being there, but how is that playing in those facilities? And if you did get to interact with them, the eventual national champs, how is that?
I didn't get to interact with him. I don't know about T.O., whether or not he did, but we've played in stadiums like that all the time, so it was kind of no different. The box is cool, though. I mean, Alex Box Stadium is pretty cool. Just that environment is awesome. The fans are awesome. We got to sit and watch the Little Rock and LSU game right before ours. And I was talking to a bunch of those fans. They live for that. They love it. Like, that's their professional team down there. I mean, you saw it at the Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge. I think they broke their own record or whatever it was. They bought like 60,000 Jello shots, which is outrageous.
What?
But yeah, it's crazy. That it's just an amazing fan base.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The facilities were very, very cool. I saw their pitching lab, and it was very different from what we got at URI. They had everything that they could ever possibly need. So that was kind of cool to see. I have Chris Stanfield, their center fielder. I'm friends with him. I play with him on the Cape team. So we were always communicating through social media back and forth. Like he was offering, hey, if you need anything while you're down here, please let me know. But we never had the opportunity to like run into each other and really talk. It was just a hectic schedule. But I think that fan base down there, yeah, it's like a religion. Like they bleed LSU down there. Everybody's wearing LSU shirts. They got people's names on their backs. It's kind of like nothing I've really ever seen before. It was definitely unique for sure. It was cool.
That sounds electric. I wish, I feel like if it wasn't like negative 80,000 degrees at half the games at Beck, like Rhodey could definitely pull out with something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you like playing at Beck for all those years, and how do you feel now that they're finally renovating it? Now that you guys are on your way out,
I think that's a credit to what we've done in the past and everybody else that's graduated from Rhode Island. Being able to have success in the past definitely makes it better for the kids in the future. So, yeah, I mean, I liked it. I'm sure there were days where I didn't like it because of the wind, and I'm sure there were days I loved it because of the wind. And I'll just remember all the memories that I've made on that field.
yeah. What are your thoughts on it, TL?
I think the renovations are cool. I saw some future plans that could go into existence, and I think that would be really cool for the future generations. I think that now we kind of like, I hope that we set the standard, and next year they exceed what we've done. Like that's what we hope, and that's what we hope for also for future generations. But it was kind of funny. We were going through the couple of years, and we were kind of like hoping, like, maybe we'll get a new turf field. Maybe we'll get some new this, new that. And we've done well with funding, but it's nice to kind of finally see. And it's kind of funny that now while we're on our way out, now this is all coming through. But I'm happy for the organization as a whole still.
Yeah, Con man, you ever pop out there?
Yeah, couple times. Of course, right after we all leave, they're making the renovations. But as you said, and really good testament, especially for what you guys did last year. Like, hey, like this team is serious. Like these guys are good, and they will continue to be good. Like let's give them what they've been asking for the last number of years. Each team deserves improvements, and it'll be cool to see. I'm excited to go back and see what they've done with it once they're done ripping up the field and making the adjustments.
Now we got to get into your pro sports takes. Now, Ant, we know you're a Yankees fan. You said you're popping out to the game, but you're not thrilled with the performance from the teams recently. What do you think's behind that?
I think it's a lot of timely hitting. They can't really hit right now. They leave a lot of guys on base. And, I mean, you have Soto now, so that's not great for us. But, yeah, I mean, Judge is unbelievable. That's all I got to say. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, I will never forget. We were in Keene. I think you had just told me that you were leaving the following week, and the Subway Series was coming up, and this was when the Mets were just starting to wake up, and you were like, "We're getting swept." I'm like, "Really? I'm not that optimistic for the Mets." You're like, "You guys are hot. We stink. You're gonna sweep us," and you were right. We won all 4 that year.
Yeah.
So,
not great.
Definitely one of the more pessimistic Yankees fans I've met.
Yeah. I try to be real when it comes to the Yankees, even though it's hard being a New York fan. But, you got to look at the bright side of things sometimes. And right now it's only Judge and Weaver.
Fair enough.
I love the memes about Judge that are all like oh, he only hits homers in non-clutch situations. Like they'll be when they were losing bad against the Dodgers in that series a couple weeks ago, and Judge hits a home run to cut the lead to like 12, and like the overreaction, and like as a Red Sox fan, being able to like just meme on the Yankees is hilarious. But we can't talk. I was gonna say try being a Red Sox fan as of late. After winning 6 in a row, we've lost 5 straight, and not doing much better. So you guys are still on top of the AL East. Yeah, so y'all don't have it that bad.
Well, yeah, that day after you guys swept the Yankees, it was great because, I mean, I was pissed off that the Yankees lost to the Red Sox, but then I see that Devers gets traded to the Giants, and that was just beautiful.
Last hit in a Red Sox uniform, he hits a home run against the Yankees and then ship him off the next day. So that's how we've been doing lately. So the Yankees will be fine, I think. But it's good to be, I don't see it as pessimism coming from you, Ant, about the Yankees. I see it more of like realism,
Yeah.
You're just ultimately waiting for the Yankees to let you down. But you guys are fine. You guys are in a good spot.
Yeah.
How am I listening to a Red Sox fan and a Yankees fan arguing about who has it worse? Are we kidding?
I mean,
because we're used to success. It's different when you're a Mets fan listening to it.
That's fair. Meanwhile, us Mets fans were like 11 games over 500 and the world's ending in our comment sections on Instagram. Tristan, are you a Red Sox fan? I don't remember.
No, I'm a Mets fan. Let's go Mets.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So, how do you think we're cooked? Do you think the season's over, or are we so back now? Are we?
You guys,
No,
I think
we're
win
fine.
streak.
I mean, our pitching staff is still unbelievable. I saw a while ago that the starting rotation has the lowest ERA in baseball. So I was like, wow, all right, well, we're killing it there. Soto's kind of starting to turn it around, so that's a positive. And then the rest of the lineup, they do their job. So I think we'll be fine. I'm excited to see how it goes from here, though.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was much needed. Soto hit 2 bombs. They beat Atlanta, 7-1 to break this stupid 1-10 stretch. But I think they're going to be okay too. But a lot of overreactions there. But in the second half, we are going to get into the NBA Finals. Do you guys follow any other sports?
I follow pretty much baseball, college football. I don't follow the NBA. Not a big fan of it.
Gotcha. What's your team, Giants?
I'm a Broncos fan, but
really,
yeah, it's just I grew up. I loved Peyton Manning, so that's kind of how I kind of got into the Broncos.
Wow, Tristan, what about you?
Just mainly baseball right now. I used to like watching football, but with all the flags and penalties and everything now, it's lost its shine for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But Ant, I don't think I ever knew you were a Broncos fan. How are you feeling about the team this year after they had a surprisingly good season last year?
I feel good. I think Bo Nix is the truth. I think he's pretty good. I think he's out of that class of rookies. I think he played the second best. And I think, honestly, with the way that quarterbacks in their sophomore season slump, I think he has a better chance of falling away from that slump just because of how old he is. He was an older rookie last year. But, yeah, they just signed J.K. Dobbins, so that'll be good. Have some run game. And I'm hoping they can get a couple more weapons on the offensive side of things with receivers. But their defense is always really good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely on the upswing over there. What's your college team?
For football?
Yeah.
I wasn't huge into it until this year, and I watched a little bit of LSU. But then we went down to LSU to play them in their regional. We took a tour around me and a couple guys took a tour around their football facility, and I don't think I could root for any other team. They showed us a recruiting video and everything. It was sweet. It was awesome. So I guess I'm an LSU fan now.
That's so fire.
You with one video and you're an LSU fan.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they've been good. They've been looking to get back into the mix, and with the expanded playoffs, hopefully they'll get back anytime, sometime soon. Because it was fun watching Joey B with that LSU team win a title. So college football is typically pretty good when LSU is good. So hoping that they'll be able to make a bounce back and show you why they recruited you to be a fan.
It's a good team to jump on. That's just a factory, man. Especially the
I
last
am
3
really
years.
excited for college football this year. I think it's gonna. They're looking to switch up the seating. I don't know if that's gonna take effect this year, but I don't know. I don't know if you know much about it, Fiore.
They're what is it? They're getting rid of
The Power Five conference winners being like the top five.
the locks.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just the top like 1 through 4 or 5, whatever it is. But I had never followed the college baseball playoffs before this year, believe it or not, and that is a doozy to try to get into immediately with how it's set up.
Yeah, same here. It was.
But
I was like, how does this work? But it's not that hard once you figure it out.
yeah, but this was an exciting one to jump onto. What did you guys think of what you saw after you guys were out in the LSU region?
Good deal. I don't really watch more college baseball than what we play.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was following along with a lot of the social media stuff. I thought that the run by Coastal was absolutely amazing. I played with Caden Bonine and Blake Barthol and possibly another kid on that team, and seeing them go on a 20-something win streak, and I saw some stat where they didn't lose since like March, the month of March, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is unreal, being able to do that. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And then I saw, obviously it was our regional, but I think what Little Rock did coming in, making out of their conference and being able to make it to a regional championship was pretty amazing. So I think definitely some credit needs to be said there. And it happened in some other regionals as well, where smaller teams were beating bigger ones and making it through. So I think that's a testament to kind of shows like how impressive that some of these smaller divisions, these mid-majors, really are. I think that a lot of mid-majors can compete and will beat a lot of these larger conference teams for sure.
I think it was a very good year for college baseball and the college baseball World Series. I mean, the clip of Coastal Carolina's head coach and first base coach getting tossed in the first inning is still making its way through socials and shedding, like, you know, we talked about Joe and his ring celebration on the last play, bringing more attention to URI. I think and college baseball as a whole. I think the coverage was a lot better media wise for the college baseball playoffs this year. So I don't know if you had any more thoughts on that. If you saw that clip, Andrew, I think John Boy might have broke it down too.
I don't think I caught that, but I will say my friend Caleb, who was actually my producer for the broadcast with the Schooners, he went to Coastal, just graduated this year, so he has been following that team closely, and I, by extension, was following it. And Caden Bonine's insane. What was it like playing with him, and how is he as a guy?
Caden Bonine is a workhorse. He works his butt off. He's very, very focused, locked in on everything that he's doing. And obviously it shows this year. I saw this really cool stat of like all the pitches that he pulled first strikes, and I have never seen anything like that. Just being able to steal your pitching staff that many strikes throughout a season, no wonder that they had so much extra success. They're a very talented team, but that is a huge help when you can get extra strikes, extra strikeouts, and just keep collecting outs at that level. I think a lot of credit needs to be said there for him, for sure.
What's it like for you when you join a summer team and you have to, and Ant touched on this a little bit, but you have to pitch to an entirely new catcher and get that groove? I mean, in Mystic, you had Matt Brinker, who's been there a while, but when you're meeting these new catchers, how does that affect the way you pitch? Is it a chemistry issue or is it pretty smooth?
I think definitely some chemistry needs to be made there. Being able to get comfortable with your catcher is definitely an important part. Talking to them, just having a conversation, getting comfortable with them, and then you can start to get into, all right, what kind of pitches do you have? When do you use them? Stuff like that. And you just throw bullpens with them, play catch with them. And after that, after you establish that, then you can start to like be able to just be on the same wavelength and mix well and start to attack hitters any way that you kind of want, because you and your catcher are now on the same page. So I feel like making that connection as fast as possible for me as a pitcher is what's most important. And that will make the success a lot better.
Yeah, definitely makes sense from a fan's perspective. But I got to get, before we have you guys off, from each of you, best baseball story, whether traveling in a game or whatever, from each of you. One from Rhode Island and one from Mystic. Got to hear these stories.
Go ahead, Ant. I need to think.
I'm thinking too. From Mystic, this isn't like a best story. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
I just remember, I think we went to North Adams and we were finished up. It was a long, like, I think it was like a 4-hour game, whatever it was. And like, I remember Orby or somebody was like, oh, at least we got steak and cheese after the game. So I was like, oh, like, cool. Like, we got steak and cheese after the game. We go over to the tent to like get the food. And it was like it was like a hot dog roll with like a cheeseburger cut in half and like put on there. And I was like, dude, this is not a steak and cheese. Like, now I have to eat this and then get on the road and go back home. Was just like, whatever. And then from college, I mean, the best memory is obviously winning the A10 championship. That was surreal. Just being able, the hotel we were at too was just unbelievable. Like hotel, rooftop, like we're up there after the game. It was just spending so much time with our buddies. It was pretty crazy.
That's fire. And yeah, North Adams was at the bottom of the list with food. No, Martha's Vineyard was worse. That Martha's Vineyard rice, dude.
Horrible.
Tristan, how about you?
Mystic Schooner's memory. I think a good one was when we were waiting for the bus on the Martha Vineyard trip, and some guys were just like, you know what? It is so hot. We take the ferry over, we dock, and then some of the guys are like, you know what? Screw this. And they just start jumping in the water and just having the time of their life in the water, just because we were like waiting for – we had a total game to play in like 3 hours, but they're like, you know what? Nah, I want to go and join the water because we're just waiting for the bus and everything. So that was pretty fun there. The food was a little rough. But in terms of at URI, winning the conference championship was, I would have to say, probably the best one. The hotel that we were at, it was unbelievable. Nice little, I think it was 4-star, 5-star hotel. And they had this cool little like perch on the back of the hotel on like the 11th floor. And there was live music playing. We had food. We had games. We had all of our family, friends, drinks, all of it. And just having that time with everybody was definitely a core memory. And I think I'll remember that forever.
Yeah, that sounds so fire. I must have missed the Vineyard one because that sounds so fun. Do you guys jump off that little lobster boat?
At the Vineyard?
Yeah.
The one that we take back?
The little ship back, yeah.
Oh, heck no. Because that's at like midnight, 1 in the morning, and your only thought as you're driving across on that little lobster boat is like, I wonder what sharks are in this water. Absolutely not.
Oh my
brutal.
God. Do you remember that bus ride we had? Because I don't think Tristan was there.
No.
The one to Vermont when the AC broke and the bus had to stop like 7 times.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember getting off the bus and everyone had their shirts off. Yeah. And that was miserable.
I was in full pants because I had been wearing pants up to that point. I was like, never again.
Yeah, that scarred me because in that whole next season, with like the 19 games that I played or whatever it was, I drove to every game. I couldn't take the bus. I was too afraid to like have that happening.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's some memories there that'll never be forgotten. I low-key never even noticed you didn't take the bus all of last year.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Oh,
I can't blame you. But yeah, we're gonna get into some NBA talk after for our last half hour. But if you guys have Ant, non-baseball related for you. Down here in Westerly, we just had the actor for Bobby Bacala move into town. So
Really?
the town's kind of been buzzing about that. He's been visiting for years, and he just bought a house here. So I'm still waiting to run into him. If I ever run into him, I'll take a pic for you and everything.
Yeah, you gotta. I went to go see him live 2 years ago. Him, the actor for Christopher Moltisanti,
Oh, yeah.
and the actor for who was it?
Paulie?
No, it was Sill.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, it was pretty crazy. That was awesome.
where was that?
It was in New Haven at the Arts Center down here. But I went with my dad. Yeah, it was cool.
That's fire, because they had Chrissy and not Paulie, Bobby. Chrissy and Bobby came down here and did a similar speech thing. And my dad's actually met the actor for Sill twice.
Yeah,
I've got to get in on that, but I had to bring that up. He loves the meatballs here in town at Longo's restaurant. But yeah, on that note, any last thoughts? Any I don't know, closing words on the season or your plans or anything before we get, or if Con, if you have one last question for them or anything.
I gotta ask Trystan one thing. I read your bio on Go Roadie earlier and said that Marcus Stroman was one of your favorite athletes. Did you model any part of your game after the way that he pitches? Like I'm so curious.
Model my game. More of just how he works. He attacks hitters.
Gotcha.
I remember watching him when I was younger, and I was like mesmerized. Here's this 5 foot. What is he? 5'8", 5'7", and this 5 foot something pitcher being able to throw 95, being able to have, well, I would say in a sense, flawless mechanics to maximize every part of his body to throw 95. And at that time that I was watching him, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. I remember, and I was just like, wow, he was one of my favorites to watch. So by the way that he was able to do that and also attack hitters, just kind of like keep that mentality, like, I don't care who you are, I'm going to try and catch you out. I love that about him, for sure.
No, I think it was a great choice because peak Marcus Stroman was one of the more, I agree, fun pitchers to watch in the league. I believe you were right. He's 5'8", maybe we'll give him 5'9", and how aggressive he was, and that's awesome because I could not see the similarities in like structurally the way you throw, but that mentality is awesome. So I thought that was the best fun fact on your bio when I was looking at you boys earlier.
Yeah.
Yankee Stroman is Celtics Shaq. Let's face it. He's washed.
Literally, yeah.
He's so washed. He hasn't been good since he was on the Mets.
Did you see his last start in minor leagues? His rehab start, he gave up 10 hits, 5 earned, in like 2 innings.
Oh my God, I'm not surprised.
He's so back.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for coming on. It was a pleasure, and if you ever end up playing in the minor leagues or travel or whatever in this region, I will definitely pop out. But best of luck in the draft. When is it now? July? Because it used to be June, right?
12th and 13th.
I think it's 13th, 14th.
13th,
Gotcha.
14th? You're right, 13th, 14th. Yeah.
Well, keep an eye on that. Best of luck to both of you, and hope you stay well. Keep training, and never forget Rhodey and Mystic, all right?
Yeah, never.
Never.
Go Rhodey. Thank you for
Go
having us.
Rhodey.
Thank you, boys. Good luck.
Appreciate you boys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we are going to go to break, and when we come back, we got a little NBA free agency and draft and finals talk. It was a busy week that Con and I will cover, and we will get that after these ads. Stay with us,
Do
folks.
it.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, RoofRite is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
D&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.
Welcome back into Fiore Calls Game. I've got Brandon Kahn with me after we just had a great interview with Anthony DePino and Trystan Levesque, two standouts from URI baseball. If you missed that, tune in once it's up on YouTube. All of our episodes are up on YouTube, and we are brought to you, forgot to mention this at the beginning, by CC O'Brien Sports Cafe. Man, their burgers, I don't know if you saw in that ad, they are as good as they look, man. I always get the blue cheeseburger there. Their wings are phenomenal, too. You can't go wrong with anything there, really. And it's one of the few spots in town where you can just play pool. So head over to Mechanic Street, literally just over the bridge, and go try out CC O'Brien's for me. And now, without much further ado, we've got some basketball talk, Con, and we don't even have to hold it to the time limit just because there's so much to talk about. We'll go as long as we need on this one. But so where do we even begin? The Thunder are now NBA champions for the first time since they moved from Seattle. Then we had some crazy free agent moves, and then we had the draft last night. So I guess we'll go in order. Thoughts on that final game?
I mean, the story was the first quarter and Tyrese Halliburton tearing his Achilles. The warning signs were there, and I will credit one of the few things Kendrick Perkins got right and wasn't obnoxious about. He knew as a player, if it's calf tightness and you're trying to play through it, that is usually a bad sign for a lower leg injury. It was non-contact, completely ruptured his Achilles. So Tyrese Halliburton, much like Jason Tatum and Damian Lillard, will miss most of, if not all of next season with a torn Achilles. Third superstar in the postseason to tear their Achilles. That just doesn't happen. It
all
is
wearing
so
number
odd.
0.
All wearing number 0 too, which is ridiculous. I don't know. They all of the sacrifices finally caught up to Halliburton. And
did you see the meme with what is it from Princess and the Frog, where it's like the "Are you ready?" It's so messed up. No,
it is.
But
they call them the Haliban, like everything. All the memes, like they're so messed up. But that is my first thought about Game 7. Not to get too off track here, is that that game probably looks a whole lot different. Halliburton was cooking. He was 3 for 4 from the field, 3 threes already. He was cooking. That game would have ended, I think, a lot closer. Would the Pacers have won? Good possibility. I try not to deal with hypotheticals and what ifs in sports, because you can talk about what if this happened, what if that happened forever. But the story of that game was, and the big question is, what if Tyrese Halliburton didn't try to play on that right calf and tear his Achilles.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely would have been a closer game, especially you saw the way the Pacers balled out in game 6 with their season on the line. And you saw
Yeah.
how close that was for almost 3 quarters.
Yeah,
That game 7
halfway through the
without
third
Howard.
quarter halfway through the third quarter is when the Thunder finally started separating. TJ McConnell had like 12 straight for them at one point, trying to keep them in the game. But once they started locking him up and he was able to stop scoring as efficiently, the game was kind of wraps from there. I mean, shout out to the Thunder, because that organization a couple years ago was barely winning 30 games. Back in 2021, I believe they won 24 games, and then they completely turned that organization around, and won a title for the first time since becoming the OKC Thunder. So major props to them. But I don't even think there's an asterisk, because who knows how that game goes if Halliburton's able to play the rest of the way. But man, one of the more memorable and exciting finals wins in a while. I think this was a very interesting finals. We were getting a new champion no matter what. So I don't know. That's my overall thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you can't put an asterisk there because injuries are just part of it with sports. You can wonder what could have happened, but the best team won, the Thunder. I've got to give it to them. I said on this show very early on, I didn't think they were going to even make the finals because they didn't have the experience, and they proved me wrong. So I own that. Shout out to them. I was rooting for the Pacers just because they're so awesome. Like it was just such a fun run. It was so fun. But no, shout out to the Thunder. And now I've seen an interesting debate who the best player in Thunder history is: Durant, Westbrook, or and it's tough.
Oh my God.
Kevin Durant, I think all-time ratings is the best of those 3 players.
I would agree.
Season goes to SGA, winning MVP, Finals MVP, and a championship. But
all in 1 year.
Brooke is the guy when you think of the Thunder. He had those legendary runs with them, but he didn't get the playoff success to show for it. So it's such a tough question.
It is. And we were talking about it in one of our group chats. I was reading through it, how Russ had to deal with the mid-2010s Warriors, and that's not going to help your case when we're talking about best Thunder of all time. It is such a debate. And do you go completely based on championship success or longevity and consistency? It is up for debate. I think Shea has made an extremely good case by the season he's had. MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, and the championship. So I can't harp on that. I'm not trying to catch any strays for who I say, but I do think Shea has put himself in that conversin very
he's got
quickly.
to do this for a few more years. I value the longevity of Russ heavily, but yeah, he had those mid 2010s Warriors. KD had LeBron to deal with in the finals in 2012, but I would even argue though that KD though had a stacked team there. He had Russ with them and James Harden.
Sixth man of the year, James Harden, to be fair.
Yes,
not 40 a game, James Harden.
That's a fair point. Westbrook was. Do you remember that MVP duel between Westbrook and Harden? What was that, 2017 or 18?
Yeah.
That was never anything like that again.
Yeah.
That was just
it 19 maybe?
No,
I don't remember. I don't remember what year Harden won the MVP.
I want to say it was 18.
Was it 18? Yeah, it was the 2017-2018 season. I get those late 2010 seasons mixed up all the time between, the Harden success except against the Warriors, Russ success except against the Warriors. Like, it just all jumbles together. But
Yeah.
What a fun time the NBA was when Russell Westbrook and James Harden were MVP candidates.
They're both washed. Not fully. They're both still like relevant-ish. You know, they can make a difference in the game, but they're not what they were. I will say about Game 7, I actually met the father of one of the refs of Game 7 this morning. Josh Tyven, his father Bruce, talked to me. I got to learn about why Scott Foster was not the Game 7 ref. He was originally supposed to be. And Silver's like first level of underlings had green lighted it, but then Silver didn't want controversy with the refereeing. So, and Foster, say what you will about a ref, like him as a referee, controversy does follow Scott Foster. So Silver wanted nothing to do with that. And Tyven is one of the most trusted referees in the league. He is one of the most technically skilled, like in terms of like his knowledge of the game's mechanics. And they knew they could trust him, so they put him in charge. So he is somebody actually I'm going to try to get on the show. I'm going to talk to his father about it, see what we can work out. So keep your eye on the horizon for that. But and I'm still going to reach out to the New York Knicks broadcaster, Tyler Murray, who had previously said he wanted to do something this summer. And on July 7th, we're going to have Addison Kopak, another former URI and Mystic Schooners baseball player, coming on. And he is currently in Double-A for the San Diego Padres. He's on the San Antonio Mission. So we'll get a minor league player right here, 2 steps away from the majors. He's actually been to Triple-A. So we have some exciting things coming up. I'll remind you all of that at the end of the show. But we got to talk about free agency and the trade deadline. And I got to give, was it you? I think you said it. The Rockets got KD.
I went back and I watched, not to debunk what I said, but I didn't straight up say KD's going to Houston. I said, don't sleep on Houston as a destination for KD because you and Akula, and myself included, we were talking about how funny it would be if he went to the Heat because it sounds like something he would do, something that would happen. Talking about the Spurs a lot, and I chimed in saying, "Don't forget how high Houston is on his list." And so I didn't call it per se, but I did want to keep Houston in the realm of possibilities, and it makes sense. And I said too on the broadcast that they would have to give up Jalen Green, which they did. So I'll give myself a little pat on the back, but I didn't straight up say no, he's going to Houston, and I wish I did, but here we are.
We could still make a reel out of that.
I know, I could,
but yeah, does this move the needle?
Oh boy, it's a great question. Their title odds already technically went down if you're talking about sports books. They are more positioned in sports books eyes to win a title. Like I said last week on the show, a 2-seed team last season, do they improve or decline with Kevin Durant? And it is so hard to say that any team is going to decline after getting Durant, who is still one of the best offensive players in the entire league. Doesn't exactly show signs of slowing down. So where do they go from here? They just re-signed Fred VanVleet, which is a key piece for them. They still got who I think is a young up-and-coming star in Amen Thompson. Very good two-way player. Good defensive wing. They extended Udoka, which I talked about last week as well. It's so hard to predict what they're going to do. I have a feeling they will still be in the playoffs. I think they will maybe, fall to around a 4 or a 5 seed come next season. But I do think we are going to see similar postseason success or failures where maybe they make it a round or two, but don't quite get over the hump. I am going to stand firm on that. I'm not going to beat around the bush with that. I do think they will be good, but I do think they are ultimately first or second round exits next year and however long he's in Houston.
I agree. I back that prediction up 100%.
God, I can't wait to be wrong when they make the Western Conference Finals next year.
I don't see that happening, especially with the way the West is.
West is stacked, man.
I still feel like the Nuggets are going to do something. Their window's still open.
Saying, but like you would think. I know after the Luka trade, it seems like nobody's untouchable. But can you move Jokic? Like, how is that even possible? How is that even possible? Like all these, I don't even call them rumors. I call them like far-fetched.
I haven't even heard these. When I say they're going to do something, I mean like win another championship. I don't mean like Jokic.
Yeah.
I think he's not moving.
But
there have been some interesting moves, especially surrounding the Celtics. We saw Porzingis and Holiday leave. We saw that coming. The returns were.
Don't get me started on the Porzingis trade. So, my buddy and I were theorizing that the market for KP was horrible, and that other teams saw the injury-prone, mysterious illness guy who could be a very good asset for your team if you bet on him. So the Hawks took up on it. It was a 3-team deal, right?
Yes, Brooklyn was the other team.
Yeah. Brooklyn didn't really get much out of it, but
they didn't give up anything.
I know they didn't give up anything, and they got a lot out of it. In retrospect, at least. The Celtics, it just kind of seemed like a dump trade. Like the Drew Holiday trade, like I am a big fan of Anthony Simons. I think without Tatum next year, we need Simons is a 20 points per game guy. He was arguably the Blazers' best offensive player, if not their best player, in my opinion. So that return for Drew, that made sense. We got a couple seconds as well for him. I think you had to sell Drew because this is his highest stock. And I don't think his value was ever going to be that high again. But with KP, it just I cannot stand George Niang. And I just saw a video on my For You page of Tatum and Brown not being able to stand him either. Like there was a game against the Sixers this year where Brown made a shot, and instead of getting back on defense, he stared down George Niang, who was in the second row on their bench behind a bunch of standing Sixers players. Instead of getting back on defense, this man stared down Niang because, I'm hoping Niang, I don't know how many minutes he's going to get in this rotation, honestly, but I don't know how he's going to, maybe he's a Marcus Smart where, you hate to see him on any other team, or a Marchand, for example, in the NHL, where, you hate to see him on any other team, but love to have him on yours. I hated going up against him because he's so cocky for, an 11th player in a squad. So I don't know how that's going to work out chemistry-wise, and I absolutely despise him. But that being said, also, that's not much value for KP. I'm sorry, it's not. Porzingis, who outside of the injuries is an exceptional big man offensively and defensively. He was really turning it up in 2024. I just don't think we got back what he was worth unless, the league. And again, I trust Brad completely. So maybe he sees something we don't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not thrilled about Niang. I exposed my lack of ball knowledge a little bit in the chat when I said I had not heard of Simons, but
yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
I know. I don't know how.
But to back you up a little bit here, I don't blame you because the Blazers have been irrelevant. I mean, not just since trading Dame, because Dame's last couple of years in Portland, he was hurt and they were bad. So
yeah,
I don't blame you.
Basketball is one of the sports where I'm weaker with my knowledge of the depth of other teams.
Right.
I know the Celtics very well. I have some holes on other teams like that, but everything I've seen, I like. Everything I've heard since the trade, he sounds like he could improve this team. And as far as Niang goes, I'm also not thrilled about it.
I mean, like, sure, he'll play because he's a 3-4, so he'll probably play because of the Tatum injury. And according to Shams, the Celtics are not done, so
They might trade him.
I hope so. I
be a
think
flip.
Yeah, I think they might. And people are saying that about the Blazers too with Holiday because they did it before when they got him in the 3-team deal in the Dame trade. They then flipped him to us. So you never know. It doesn't mean that we're gonna keep him, but I see it as okay, can we turn the KP trade into something else? Because in my mind, we just dumped him for salary purposes. So I hope they do flip him because that seems to be the kind of piece that Niang is a bargaining chip somehow.
They could package
Somehow
him
he
with
is value.
Hauser. They could package him with Hauser.
Yeah, I think is Hauser a free agent this year or is it next year?
I think
He might be a restricted free agent.
aren't Cornette. So I know Horford's a free agent, and either Cornette or Hauser, one of the two of them, is a free agent.
Right.
I gotta pull up Celtics reports. I was seeing there were stupid rumors, and I had never thought we were gonna move White or Brown, but people were starting to talk about it. Shams said something, and then it immediately got taken back.
What did he say?
They were saying that they were
Shams
saying,
has been adamant that the Celtics aren't done.
yeah, but Shams was saying at one point that they were hearing offers about White and Brown, and it was taken as this whole like, oh, they're gonna move them, and there was never I don't know, I never really saw it, but now
I hope not.
Brad Stevens said the Celtics have a foundation with Tatum, Brown, White, and Pritchard.
So nobody else
it was. I knew they weren't going to trade him. I don't know why people were starting to talk about it. Like some ESPN guys were talking about like a potential Brown trade, or like, oh, Celtics are saying nothing's off the table. You know, it's just like,
yeah, I mean,
all right, guys, like they're not.
What I will say is hopeful is that Brad yesterday after the draft, it seems like the team is still monitoring. JB just had knee surgery. Me when knee surgery is tomorrow. Anyways, they've been monitoring JB's recovery. So because they're so on top of it, and Brad is talking like, hey, this is our guy. I'm hoping that we hang on to him because I think we got a good core, and the Celtics. I was saying to my parents just yesterday or the day before that like this could still be a playoff team without Tatum. Like worst case scenario, play in. Like people talk about the East not being as tough. I do think the East is going to look really interesting next year. So I don't think there's a reason to give up on your Finals MVP or Derek. I just don't see a reason to blow up the team unless they're really trying to get a lottery pick for the year after.
If they trade Brown, I'm renaming the show Con Calls Game. There's no way they're trading Brown.
No.
I don't see it.
I don't see them blowing it up. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know why people were talking about it. Brad would not do that. I'm convinced. And I do though see them doing more. I'd like to see a flip of Niang like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Do we know some guys that could be lottery picks next year?
Not off the top of my head.
Because I feel like the problem with trying to like get lottery picks is like if it's not a year with like a Cooper Flag or a Wemby, like the classes are usually just like awful. I don't know about you, but I feel like the NBA draft is always like not that good.
Yeah, like the first like 5 picks last night were interesting and kind of what you expected, except Con Knipple. I think Con Knipple moved up in the draft a lot higher than most people were expecting. I wasn't surprised when the Hornets took him at 4, but Yeah, it's kind of an underwhelming draft. I think people were saying that about last year because there was no clear-cut number one.
I mean, the
This
guy
year, it was like,
that dude on the Hawks, I can't even remember his name.
Zach Versace. Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up going number one because, like, by draft time, the insiders know, okay, this is the buzz. This is most likely what they're going to do. Versace went number one last year, and then Alex Sarr. Like, there was a lot of toss-up last year. People didn't know what to expect. But this year, there was a clear-cut number one. We knew the two Rutgers players, Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, were going to go high. I mean, maybe not Ace Bailey as much because he's been tanking his own image for whatever reason.
Yeah, breakdown
which you alluded to earlier in the show.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, him having teams he did and didn't want to go to, but can you explain in more detail what happened with Ace Bailey?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I started noticing when I think Shams put out that he declined to do, I don't know if it was him or NBA Central or someone put out that he declined to do a workout with the Sixers. And there's been this whole bunch of stuff that's come out lately that he was trying insanely hard not to get drafted by the Hornets or the Jazz. And then the Jazz took him at number 5 last night, and he looked miserable. Like, biggest moment of his life doesn't even matter because of the team that he got drafted to in his mind. So, very similar. I wouldn't say very similar, but a mentality sort of thing. He probably could have went number 2 or 3, but he didn't fall as far as Shadur, obviously, but it's different because there's so many more players and so many more rounds in the NFL. But yeah, I guess with Ace Bailey, it was a mentality thing, and the Jazz are taking a gamble despite him declining workouts with multiple teams, having in his head like an idea of select places that he wants to go or doesn't want to go. And I'm actually surprised that the Jazz took him because he clearly does not want to be there. So I wouldn't say it's as complicated as the Shadur thing, but that's what I know is that he declined workouts with the Sixers. So Sixers could have taken him. They took VJ Edgecombe from Baylor instead. I don't know. He was tanking his own stock, and I don't think he's going to have much success in the league, especially now that he's on the Jazz, who he clearly stated that he doesn't want to play for. So
I don't know why you would waste a pick on somebody who does not want to be a part of your team. It's just you got to be like grateful to be going anywhere, and especially as a high draft pick, you can't expect to be on a great team, unless you're
Cooper Flag.
Unless you're Cooper Flag, which I still think it's so ridiculous that they got the number 1 pick.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing about the lottery is like you would think he would be more excited because the more, like the top 3 picks are all very promising teams. Like, although I think Cooper Flag would have been the best fit in Philadelphia, the Mavericks getting the first pick, they were in the play-in, they were injured towards the end of the season. They traded Luka for AD, but they're in a very promising spot. Spurs, everybody has good things to say about the Spurs. They're in a positive spot. Again, injuries for them. Sixers, injuries, issues with Embiid, all that, but very promising teams being the top 3 in the lottery. So wouldn't you want to put on your best performance in the combine, not decline any workouts, to try to get picked by these teams who lucked out in the lottery? But then he fell to the teams that he didn't want to go to, and I'm sure nobody really wants to go to because they're just stuck in purgatory, Wizards, Jazz, Hornets. It is, my point is it's odd. Why not want to work harder to get to what people view as better teams in the higher of the lottery picks? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't love the lottery. I don't like that a team can win the Western Conference and then lose 1-star player and then get a generational. Like, it's almost, not to say it's rigged, but it's a little suspicious that right after the Luka trade, they get the top pick when they were clearly worse teams in front of them. But I do understand it prevents outright tanking.
Yeah, which I can appreciate.
I can, but at the same time, it's just
It looks fishy.
yeah. And like if you're the Wizards or if you're the Hornets, what are you supposed to do? You know?
Just sit back and take it. I mean, those organizations have gotten the short end of the stick for a while. That's like when the Pelicans won the lottery and got Zion. Like they were bad, but they weren't the worst team in the league. But they lucked out, won the lottery, and got Zion anyways. So
same with the Spurs. You know, it keeps being teams that it's always the years when there's a generational star where it's like suddenly not the worst team getting it, you know?
Yeah, well, tanking doesn't stop the Patriots from winning games, so works in the NFL that way, I guess. I don't know.
I've heard the NFL thinking about doing a draft. I think it's a really bad idea.
Yeah, like a lottery.
I heard the NHL and NBA are talking about expanding to 84 games. They saw 3 superstars tear their ACLs and they decide to expand the season even more.
Yeah.
Weird decision.
Yeah. I mean, technically they already did, because if you make the semifinals and finals of the NBA Emirates Cup, then you play 84 games during the season, which is insane.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, I get expanding the season. You want to capitalize on money and viewership and get more eyes on the game, but a longer season just will, even if it's by 2 games, inevitably results in more injuries. The playoffs, like, I love 7-game series, but the playoffs are long enough. I mean, the season ends end of April, and the finals just ended last week. It's a lot. And like you said, 3 star players tearing their Achilles just in the finals, and you want to add more games? I don't know.
It's ridiculous. And now March Madness is going to reach a decision about expanding their tournament, which 68's the perfect number.
They've got 68.
They've got a good thing going, you know.
And they said it would be 76 if they expand it.
They've got a good thing going here. Don't touch it. People love March Madness. Sure, there's some controversy with what teams get in and what don't, but like that doesn't mean expand it.
That doesn't mean every freaking D1 team in the country has to make March Madness, you know?
Maybe Rhode Island will finally win.
Yeah, expand to 76 teams, and maybe URI will make the tournament again.
I don't know. It's just another unk take, but it's at a good amount now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens.
I will say, not to get too off topic here, as we come towards the end of the show. I did like that college football expanded. I think they needed to expand from 4 teams a long time ago, and I'm glad that they finally did. And they're working out the tweaks of the seeding and stuff. But I'm looking forward to it.
It's not all expansion bad. I think the college football one was brilliant. I think March Madness was right to expand to the point it's at now.
Yes,
you know,
definitely, because they were at what
32
before the. Yeah, they were at 32. Then did they expand right to 64?
I don't know.
They expanded from 64 to 68 in 2011, 2012.
It's at a good amount now. That's the thing, you know?
To the point where we're really used to it, and I think it works. I just think they got to take out the bias seeding.
I do too. I think that's the solution with it. But I mean, somebody called in the other show arguing that the MLB playoffs are too big and the Stanley Cup playoffs are too big. No, I think they're fine. You know, they're like,
MLB playoffs are shorter than NHL and NBA just because they're not one and done. You know,
it should be division winners only, which I don't know, because then you're screwing over teams that are in loaded divisions. I think they're all at good spots now. And I think we're at a good spot to wrap things up here. Great show, Brandon. We want to thank again Anthony DePino and Trystan Levesque for coming on and representing URI baseball. I'm away in Florida the next week, but on July 7th, Addison Kopak in the San Diego Padres organization, former URI and Mystic Schooners baseball player, will be joining us from the San Antonio Missions. We don't have the time definite. As of now, it's 11, but we got to check with him about his latest travels. But I've got other things on the horizon. Again, talking to that NBA ref, trying to get the ball rolling on that, the Knicks broadcaster. We got a lot of things in works, folks. So you're going to want to stay tuned and keep an eye on our socials and keep an eye on all that 321 Media has to offer here in beautiful downtown Westbury. But that's going to do it for us. Thank you, Con. This has been Andrew Fiore on Fiore Calls Game, signing off.